At the farthest edge of the village, where the compound was quiet and the walls were cracked with time, a girl no older than 14 swept the dusty ground with a broom made from palm fronds. Her name was Chisom, and she looked nothing like the other children of Umokoro. Her dress was made from a faded sackcloth, patched so many times it had lost its shape. Her feet were bare, cracked from too many days spent walking on scorching earth. Her hair was rough and uneven, cut with a razor blade and left to grow wild. Chisom looked like an orphan, because she was, but even more than that, she was unwanted. Inside the small clay house, a woman stirred a pot of yam porridge with sharp, calculated strokes. Her name was Madame Ruth, and she was not just Chisom's stepmother. She was her tormentor. "Useless girl," Madame Ruth hissed from inside. "You're still sweeping at this hour? Come here." Chisom dropped the broom and ran in, wiping her dirty hands on her ragged gown. "Yes, ma." The older woman didn't look at her. She reached to the corner of the room and picked up an old clay water pot. It was large and chipped on one side. "Take this," she said without warmth. Chisom received it carefully. "Where should I fetch the water from, ma?" Madame Ruth's lips curved in a way that resembled a smile, but it was sharp, cruel. "Go to Ahomiri River." Chisom's fingers went cold around the pot. Her eyes lifted slowly. "Ma, Ahomiri is in the evil forest." "And?" Madame Ruth raised an eyebrow. "They say it belongs to the spirits," Chisom whispered. "No one goes there." Madame Ruth turned fully now, staring the girl down with eyes full of rage. "That's where I want water from. That's the only one I want. Or do you want to sleep outside again? Do you want to go hungry today?" Chisom's lips trembled. "Please, ma, let me fetch from Oji Stream. It's close and safe." A heavy slap landed on her cheek. Chisom stumbled back, the pot nearly slipping from her fingers. "I said Ajomimiri," Madame Ruth screamed. "Are you deaf? That's the only water I want today. If you return with any other water, don't enter this house again." Tears filled Chisom's eyes, but she dared not speak again. She nodded once, clutching the pot to her chest. "Yes, ma." Madame Ruth turned back to the fire and smiled to herself, satisfied. But as Chisom turned to leave, the woman followed, quietly, without a word. She trailed behind the girl like a shadow. Chisom didn't notice until she reached the outskirts of the village. The forest loomed ahead. The sky seemed darker here, even though it was morning. A cold wind brushed past her ears. The Ajomiri forest stood tall and ominous, like a wall of twisted wood and whispering leaves. At the edge of the path, Madame Ruth stopped. Chisom turned around and saw her standing there. "Keep going," Madame Ruth said softly. "Ma, please." Chisom's voice cracked. "Please don't send me there. I'm just a girl. If I die..." "You should have died at birth," Madame Ruth spat. "Just like your mother." Chisom froze. The words stabbed deeper than the slap. Her heart pounded. "I should have been the one to have a child," Madame Ruth hissed. "But your mother came from nowhere and took my place, and then gave birth while I remained barren." She stepped closer now, eyes wild. "I've waited for this day. That cursed river will finish what your mother started." With that, she turned and stormed off, leaving Chisom alone at the edge of the evil forest. The trees whispered her name. The wind carried voices. And Chisom, a 14-year-old girl, with nothing but rags and a clay pot, stepped into the shadows. She didn't look back.